Welcome to the Extraordinary Yoga Teacher Summit. And um, we are Christopher and Daniela. We're the co-founders of Great Energy. We're an online school and very much devoted to nervous system health, conscious living, and whole person healing. So together, Christopher and I here at Great Energy, we bring really more than 40 years of experience in Qigong and Taoist yoga, energy practices, and awareness into the practical and relatable teachings for modern bodies living modern lives. And our work really bridges healing and education and conscious business, inviting each of you, ourselves always included, to grow both in spirit and skill.
My career in business technology and yoga started at around the same time when I was about 20 years old. So I've been studying many schools of yoga for over 3 decades. I've received certifications in yoga and also in Qigong. Along that time, I've also been involved in building marketing systems, technology systems, websites. And so my career really has merged these two. As I bring forth both our own offerings and we work with clients to help do this as well. And over this time period, we've guided thousands of students around the world through our certifications, through our courses, through our trainings. And we really focus on education both for participants and also for all of you as yoga teachers so that you can serve and that you can be part of the change that Satbir was referencing of this tremendous need in our society.
And we also recognize and acknowledge that the reality is that many of us live every day. Many of you are here are yoga teachers. We acknowledge that many of your students are arriving overstimulated, and oftentimes teachers can leave teaching their class feeling exhausted. And yoga, it really offers profound transformation. And many yoga teachers are still missing a few practical tools for very rapid regulation and recovery.
So we teach, our certification is called the Qigong certification. As I've studied both yoga and Qigong, I found a tremendous amount of overlap in many of the areas that we learned about in the last presentation. And now we're more studying Qigong because it has that instant grounding. We're calling it the missing link, not that there's anything actually missing. However, there's that near instant nervous system regulation. Qigong is a very rapid practice that in 5 or 10 minutes, I can completely shift myself into that state of rest and relax and digest.
So, as yoga teachers, all of you, you want results. You want to have a great experience. You want to feel, you want your students to feel the freedom and the promise that yoga offers your students, what you've received from yoga. And all of you, we would assert, really care about the success of your students and to be able to teach in a way that is free of burnout and that supports your life. So Qigong really is one of the fastest tools for grounding modern students. It supports your ability to be the clearest container so that the transmission of yoga comes through really brightly through you as you, so that you can shine as your brightest potential as a conduit for really the technology of yoga. It supports the ability to ground and settle and to really live being present with your students. And your students, again, oftentimes they arrive dysregulated. They're rushing into class, perhaps. And the Qigong practices themselves are exercises that help you to shift to the parasympathetic rest, this state of relax. And we want to be relaxed when we receive the teachings of yoga. So Qigong is really offering what a lot of yoga teachers and students are missing. It's near instant nervous system regulation. And lastly, what I just want to say about this is in just a few moments, Qigong grounds Vata type overstimulation. We have an enormous Vata imbalance in our culture currently. It lowers the stress load, and Qigong included in your yoga class prepares the teacher and the student to more fully receive that all that the yoga class has to offer that you have very carefully and thoroughly prepared.
So when do we use this? Daniela just mentioned that a little bit. So it can be used independently of yoga as a self-care practice in the morning or perhaps in the evening. It can be used at that time when you arrive at class and you have just a few minutes left to prepare. It can be used in place of a full morning practice. As I mentioned, 5 or 10 minutes can be completely sufficient to change your energy. And when your energy changes, your life changes, your outlook changes. So let's go into a little bit of definition here. What is this? We think we know what the definition of yoga is. In a way, I could call Qigong yoga from China, right? In a way, these two major medical systems, Ayurveda, the science of life, and yoga, has arisen through the practices and the grace and the devotion in the Indian subcontinent. And Qigong and Taoist yoga practices similarly have come its winding pathway throughout history from our brothers and sisters and ancestors from China. It's thought to be a branch of traditional Chinese medicine. So Qigong is a place where we actively participate in our own healing process. So there are times where a Chinese medical doctor will prescribe certain Qigong practices as complementary therapies for what is ailing their patient. Now, in the in the year 168 BCE, more than 2,000 years ago, there was discovered, this is carbon dating, there was discovered a scroll featuring 44 colored illustrations of men and women, young and old, in various standing and seated postures performing exercises. This is thought to be the oldest known example of physical practices, and at the time it was called Dao Yin. Dao Yin is what this was called. Think of the samurais or the kung fu's doing their exercises before going out for their more intensive practices. So this is where this comes from. This is ancient technology. And Dao Yin has now been translated into either Qigong or Taoist yoga. And what Daniela and I teach, Great Energy Qigong, is a contemporary form of this medical healing Qigong. We're using traditional Qigong movements, breathwork, and meditation practices that are designed to be trauma aware and that are very suitable for the Western lifestyle. Taoist yoga and Qigong both work with flowing movements. We're moving with energy. We're stretching gradually and dynamically instead of holding static poses. Static poses in Hatha yoga allow strength and energy to build. Dynamic movements through these Qigong practices allow the fascial networks to move and to breathe, releasing stress and tension from the body, which then will allow other physical exercises or yoga to really deepen in its intention for their class. These gentle flowing practices are especially suitable for an aging population because allowing the muscles and the ligaments to move and stretch increases our range of motion and flexibility while decreasing the possibility of injury. We also find that when we move and stretch and breathe through these Qigong practices that our perceived level of energy increases swiftly, that our awareness of our breath starts to become a little more prominent. And we find that the flowing movements of Qigong are suitable for a kind of moving meditation that helps when we're not ready to sit still. So these practices are simple to teach, they're accessible to all bodies, and they work beautifully both in person and online. I started switching more to teaching Qigong during COVID because I was in this kind of format. Before that, I was teaching Ashtanga Vinyasa. And when I was in the classroom moving around, I could see people from various sides, and the more complex poses in that yoga series really there's a value to having an in-person teacher who can assist you because the alignment for many of these different styles of yoga is pretty important. And so I started teaching more and more, bringing more and more into my yoga classes, more Qigong into my yoga classes. And I found that in the remote environment, such as we are now, that I could teach much more effectively while being sure, honoring the desire that I have to provide an opportunity for people to practice without injury. So that's when I really started to work with it. And in the beginning, I used Qigong as a warm up and as a cool down. We have two different practices in our full training. One is called Open the Gates, and the other is Open the Meridians. Both of these are about 10-minute warm up style practice that our graduates will bring into their yoga classes, perhaps not even calling it Taoist yoga, not even calling it Qigong, just saying, here's a new warm up. So these can be added into a yoga class immediately. There are other practices from Taoist yoga and Qigong that you can use inside of your yoga classes. There are some cool down poses, practices at the end. And then, of course, you can lead an entire Qigong set that is independent of the yoga practice that you've been studying, that you've been learning. So we're really excited to share this with you as an extension, as an addition to your yoga teaching. Perhaps it will provide some new opportunities, some new ways of moving or breathing in your yoga classes. And then, and perhaps some of you will consider diving deeper into Qigong, into Taoist yoga, to broaden out the toolkit that you're able to bring so that we can reach a more diverse population. Anything else, Daniela, before I get into a few experiences?
No, no, let's get into it. And just make sure you talk about the distinction between how yoga uses the breath and what the intention is of breath awareness in the upcoming practices.
Yeah, thank you. So we never hold the breath when we're doing a healing Qigong practice. Breath is a carrier of Qi and should always be flowing. So we're working on developing breath awareness with our Qigong practices, not so much breath control. There's absolutely a place for breath control practices for developing nervous system resilience and other side effects of breath holding and breath retention. Even Ujjayi breath is not practiced so much in a healing Qigong. We're looking to connect with the natural flow of breath as it is, rather than trying to exert some control. Ultimately, in Qigong, the word Qi means energy. It's a synonym of prana. And Gong means work or effort. So Qigong means applying work or effort over time to develop our internal energy systems. Daniela and I are fans of Star Wars, so we'll call it the Force or life force energy. Advanced practitioners ultimately discover how to direct and control Qi for internal healing. There's a practice of external Qi healing where masters with an abundance of life force energy are able to share with somebody who is in need, who is depleted. However, those are very advanced practices, and the practices of Qigong begin with awareness. Let's develop an awareness and an understanding of the interplay of breath and our own life force energy, originally with the objective of replenishing ourselves. We can't direct energy, we can't circulate energy, we can't do these advanced practices unless we're in a cup overflowing energy level. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking to explore and experience the flow of movements, the flow of breath, and to tune into the flow of energy that is inside of that. Anything else, Daniela? Or
Um,
shall we move?
yes, I think let's get into the practice. And I think right here, I just want to speak a little bit to moving meditation, and then you run through all three practices that you have prepared.
Go for it.
Um, so Christopher is going to share three really beautiful practices. One is a clearing practice, one is a refilling your energy practice, and the third one is you really would place probably later in your yoga class, and it's a moving meditation. And one of the things I just love about Qigong and sharing Qigong in yoga classes is that a lot of times students, you probably find this in some of your classes, there's a nervousness around thinking that they can't meditate, right? I don't know how to meditate, or I'm not good at meditation. My mind is too busy. And a somatic meditation, Qigong, is a moving meditation that is a very beautiful entrance into meditation, such that your students afterwards will have a direct experience that they actually can meditate. So we don't even necessarily say up front, now we're going to do a moving meditation. Just integrate gently the Qigong moves and practices. And Qigong really is a bridge to embodied presence. So, so thank you, Christopher. Let's enjoy together.
Thank you. So if you'd like to move and breathe and experience these three practices, you're invited to come to stand, to make a little bit of room to the left and to the right. Find your feet where they are in space and start to let the body shake. Let your feet be nice and wide apart so you can be steady. Shake the hands, shake the shoulders. Turning a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Start to shake the hips. Shaking is a Taoist practice of letting go, physically releasing held tension in the body, which liberates energy to circulate elsewhere. It takes energy to grip. So we're releasing that. Take a deep breath in and let it out with a sigh. Another breath in, make a sound or a sigh. One more time, breath in, vibrate your vocal cords. With the feet wider than hip width apart, start to turn to the left and to the right. Imagine your legs are tree trunks growing deep into the earth. Moving from your center and letting your hands tap and bump and make a sound on your own body. Some of you might know this as willow tree. In Qigong, we call this knocking on the door of life. There is a acupuncture point at the center of the small of your back called the Mingmen. It's the door of life point. So we're waking up this vital energy in this whole area of the body. We use a three centers energetic model in Taoist practices. This whole area between the navel and the pubic bone is called the lower dantian. Dantian could be translated to be elixir field. In one book I read that its translation is best energy ever. This is the center of the body. Our physicality, our vitality are stored and distributed from this area. So wake it up. You can let your hands come up and tap on the lungs, taking a big breath here into the middle energy center, the lungs, the heart, our emotional center. And then release this and let your hands float up and turn your gaze. Smile, imagine that you're receiving beautiful sunlight, welcoming it down into your face, into your head, letting your hands start to slide down the body. Inhale, reach up, look up, palms up, stretch. Exhale, release the hands, palms down, noticing your feet and the earth beneath your feet. Inhale, reach up, look up, elevate your face, elevate your spirit, smile to the sun. Exhale as the hands come down, imagine the sun is filling you. You're standing in a golden column of light. Feel that earth supporting you. Inhale one more time, reach up, smile. Imagine you can welcome and receive the healing golden white light. Exhale, the hands float back down, soften the knees, release the tailbone. Let the hands cover the navel or the space beneath the navel. and receive a natural abdominal breath into this part of the body. As you breathe in, let the belly fill and expand into your hands. As you breathe out, relax, noticing your feet. All right. So our first practice is one that is a favorite in the Great Energy Qigong certification. It's called the 7 chakra clearing practice. So first imagine that you're painting a smile with your hands. Your weight is shifting left and right. Your hands are following each other, moving through your external energy field, the Wei Qi field. Your auric field is measurable. It's palpable. You can feel it. So move slowly enough that you can sense ripples or tingles or feeling of any kind at the intersection, the interplay of your hands and your own energy field. And then smile with it. Let the corners of your mouth turn up to the ears. Start to watch the hands as they float to one side and to the other, painting a smile. Good. And then you can step either foot back. And now we're going to shift our weight from the back to the front. And we're going to imagine that the hand can magnetize stale, stagnant, stuck energy in the lower chakra, in our root. And imagine that the front hand with the palm in is kind of surfacing a little energy, and then the back hand is sweeping it. So magnetize it out, sweep away. You can watch the hands clearing and sweeping the lower center. Sacral sexual center, moving the hands up just a little bit. Noticing whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing. And if something surfaces, you can watch your hands go and you can whisper or say out loud, goodbye. Sweeping. Good. And then somewhere in the flow of this rhythm, let your legs change. So the other foot is back. Back stance to front stance, sweeping away. A few times for each center. Goodbye. Working with the lower three. Good. And then step your feet to square. And now let the hand move across the heart. Imagining that in your energy field is surfacing anything from past hurts, emotional disturbances, any kind of stale old energy. And you're saying goodbye. Visualizing it being released from your own energy field and it's absorbed by the earth. The earth says thank you. Moving up to the throat. Releasing everything that has been said and everything that has gone unsaid. And then the hand can move up your face. Clearing the third eye. And then eventually overhead, the crown. If you feel like flicking your hands to make sure that anything that's stirred up is released. You're in your field. You can go around the back of your head. And then let's work our way back down. Clearing crown chakra, the third eye, throat, the heart. Then you can do the step forward and back, solar plexus, sexual, sacral, and Muladhara. And then change your feet for those bottom three. Oh. And then let's slow it down. Find your feet wider than hip width apart. Shoulders are down and back. Tailbone is heavy. And we collect the chi. We inhale, let the hands float up to the outside of the body. Exhale, the hands slowly move down. Bringing your attention now to the breath. Breathing in and out through your nose. If it's clear. And let the movement be slower than the breath. And then let the hands settle on the navel or below. Feel some weight in your sacrum as the top of your head reaches for the sky. Notice what you're feeling. Turn your attention within. And then let one hand slide around to the tailbone and start to ripple the body. So this is called the wave. We're doing a full wave, originating deep in the earth, bending and straightening the knees and letting the whole spine move up. So your hands can be here just at the beginning to help the hips move their maximum. And then let this ripple of this wave move up your body. And now, once you have this, we're going to refill. So we've cleared the energy centers, and we're now going to refill them. So along with this wave, the hands rotate out and around, and then come in and go past the body. So we're doing a full rotation of the hands and the forearms, breathing in and out through the nose, and imagining that energy is now filling the lower energy center. This one's called Dragon Whips Its Tail. So it's not necessary to synchronize the movements with the breath, and it's just fine if they are. We encourage our students in our classes to slow down so that they couldn't possibly be synchronizing the movement with the breath, to de-link this, to explore energy. And then later the movements can be faster if you'd like. The hands also come up past the ears to fill the upper center, the domain of Shen, the energy of our connection to spirit, to intuition, to higher wisdom. The middle energy center, the domain of Qi, the energy of breath and of emotions, our connection to each other. And the lower center, the domain of Jing, of vitality. Our physicality is sourced in this part of the body. So now play with this, moving the hands up and down, nice and slow for today. And imagine you are refilling your cup. Your eyes can be open or closed. Good. Slow it down a little more. Let this movement become something unique to you. Play with it a little bit, like it's a new chord that you've learned, an instrumental chord. And at some point, your hands settle back at the lower dantian. Breathing here. Notice how you feel. Look within, listen within, feel within. And release the hands. And for our third practice, we're going to practice a moving meditation called Embrace the Tiger, Return to the Mountain. So imagine that you are standing in front of a beautiful lake, and on the other side is a gorgeous mountain covered with forests and tipped with snow. And you're receiving and imagining that you can breathe in the energy of this place. There's a still pond. Your hands can move like they're smoothing the surface of the still pond. We roll up with the backs of the hands towards each other and then press forward with energy. The hands are curved, they're arched. As you inhale, reach up. Now we're tracing an arc around the entirety of the mountain. And then smooth out the still reflecting lake. Inhale, roll up, ripple up, backs of the hands towards each other. Exhale, press forward. Energy in this movement. Inhale, drawing a circle around the mountain. Exhale, smooth it out. Bend the knees deeply, roll up, engage your thighs. Press forward. Your hands forward, back moves back. Up and around you go, smiling as you paint this scene and receive the nourishment from this visualization. Do a few on your own. Breathing softly in and out through the nose, welcoming this flow of energy in your life, in your body. Let the corners of your mouth travel up to your ears. Let your body sing with gladness, feeling this flowing, moving meditation. And one more. And as this concludes, let your palms come to rest on each other and let your feet become touching or close. And we close with Taoist centering. One hand releases up and out to the side, and we draw a line from the head to the heart to the lower center. And the other hand releasing out and around. Wisdom, love, power. Few times around, connecting head to the heart, to the body, acknowledging wisdom, love, power. And then let your hands settle wherever they would like. Thanking yourself for taking this few minutes for practice. Thanking your teachers, known and unknown, seen and unseen, who've loved you into being. And I thank you for this opportunity to share these practices with each of you today. Thank you. How do you feel? Leave a comment in the chat. What did you notice after that short practice? Yeah, replenished, expansion, delicious, good. Deeper breathing, deep relaxation. Incredible. Energized, calm, centered. Would you have imagined that in 10 minutes? That could be, that's how you would feel, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. It's incredible, right? Daniela and I have a special invitation we'll be sending to you. After the summit's over next week, we'll do an extended session of how to bring the principles and practices of Qigong and Taoist yoga into your yoga classes. So look out for that. We'll invite you to a little bit more of an expanded study with us as a thanks for being part of our summit.